free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take. Look behind your back. Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows. Going harder, we are more than numbers. Standing in the shade, going louder. We are all one color, standing in the way. Join the army of the shadow. Join the army of the shadow. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Join the army of the shadows. Going harder. We are more than numbers. Standing in the shade. Going louder. We are all one color. Standing in the way.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our final match of the day. I'm not tired, I'm full of energy. I know Paragon is also full of energy, but he's not joining me on commentary. Blur is back once again. Welcome, Blur.
And I'm also just full of energy and
Just full of
absolutely
energy.
exuberant for this match ahead of us.
I could keep going. 4 more games, 5 more games, please. Can we get some tiebreakers going here, Blur? I'm not
Yeah,
ready to stop.
I mean, there is the chance of a playoff in the other group. I'm sure you're keen for that one.
So don't worry, I'm handling the standings. I know
Now
exactly what's
arriving
going
at
on.
Lijiang Park.
We are experiencing now the next matchup here, our 5th game of the day, a Group 2 matchup, Group 1 matchup between Oink and Yoink, who we saw early in the day. Just to remind you guys, that is Mito and Severin and Gutbuster, plus the other couple of people who you'll get to know throughout the course of this matchup. And the team we haven't seen yet today, Blur, did you cast this team earlier today?
I haven't casted this team. I've just been following the results.
Right, so what the meta? ATK's best and brightest, Sponge and Dizzy, represented on this team. So 4 VS Gaming finalists, 5 in fact, if you include Blur. So a lot of heavy hitters in this particular match.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle between the top players coming up against each other here, but also a chance for the players surrounding them to kind of prove their worth and prove the value they add to these teams. I mean, we saw a lot of good work out of Cena in the earlier game, and I'm sure players like Anzu, players like Anti-Raven, players like Shaito, Kinky Afro 99 in the game, but I'm going to go with Shaito because it's quicker.
I'm not, because it's not what's written on the screen.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, excited to see that. That's what I love about this competition. We've seen a few players we didn't know before. Of course, our first game, Assassin JDB, was a real stand-up performer. We just saw now the last game, Dark Decima performed really well as well. But Nito, interrupting my sentence there with a beautiful pulse from Oink and Yoink onto Sponge there to open this match out. This is a big anti-heal here. Good look to get aggressive here, Oink and Yoink, but no, unfortunately, Gatbuster going down actually could be a big difference maker how this fight goes. Now Jen taking down Cena with the signal on the Reaper. They do end up getting the res on Gatbuster, but I think it's too little too late here. Now getting aggressive is what the meta, taking down Nito again here, all for the first time. Little smile though, gets a return on Sponge. He's had a difficult game so far, doesn't seem to have gotten a single shot off at this stage, but his team more than capable of holding the point.
Yeah, I think you can see how they're trying to focus down early in this fight. They're picking out Sponge as an immediate target, man, and kind of just taking him out of the fight instantly. But General Sound actually producing a lot of work in that fight to keep them at bay. General Sound actually coming in for the missing trigger happy here.
Yeah, looks like a little bit of an overextension perhaps, but not going down. So yeah, General Sound coming in for trigger happy, a bit of an upgrade has to be said, but at this late stage in the day, subs are few and far between. I think you know that better than anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But coming into this fight here, we'll be keen to see whether the team of Oink and Yoink can kind of...
Oh my god! I said he hadn't hit a single shot this game, but it turns out I wasn't paying attention because he built up a dead air and eviscerated the whole of Oink and Yoink in the blink of an eye.
And I think that's the mark of a really good player. A player that's going to kind of, might look like they're kind of fading away in this game, but, then pops up with a 4K right at the important moment.
Oh my lord. Okay, well, Oink and Yoink need to go back to the drawing board. They're going to try and go around the left-hand side here. A dangerous prospect against the Narissa, but chooses Oink a bit aggressively there. Severin, nano boosted whole hard here, but there is a return. Oh, wow, he got taken out really quickly there, even off the back of that nano boost. And, geez, what they made it looking super strong in this game so far.
Yeah, and I think it's just, it's with the Orisa Sigma here, they're holding such a strong bunker that they're not taking any poke from this Pharaoh. Their Reaper's struggling to get through their lines and actually do damage. He's only at 50% to his Death Blossom, and Sponge just tracking this Pharaoh super well.
Yeah, and they do just barely touch the point, but it might be too little too late here. Severin goes down on the front line, and now it's just Mito and hello, this res, oh my god. I thought he was gonna get that off for a second there, but he didn't. Oink and Yoink don't have enough strength here to get through the stalwart defense of what the meta coming here is Lethal Smile, but I mean solo Doomfist against six, not really likely to get much done there, and Oink and Yoink not able to take that.
Yeah, really quality performance coming out, both from the strong players on the side of what the meta and from the players that are kind of on the periphery there. Anzu showing really good work to clean up the fights, around the team there. Kinky Afro and Anti-River providing such a nice spine for the team to work around, and they just delivered really good play there to take their team to the next round.
Is Kinky Afro the name of a DJ?
I'm not sure. As in, do you think he's a DJ, or is it a name of an existing?
No, is there a DJ called Kinky Afro?
I mean, I wouldn't know.
There's a DJ called Kinky something, and I'm pretty sure... Maybe I'm either showing my age or just being real dumb. Anyways, Oink and Yoink gonna have to go back to the drawing board here. That was not a strong performance from them. Not the meta, completely in control of this match, and are they gonna be running the Algarissa here? Sorry, the Lion Zarya here. Or Oink and Yoink gonna want to be getting aggressive here on top of them, but so far holding their distance quite well is. Oh, PG, that's my bad. That's on me. Yeah, unfortunately, they did call for a pause there, did Meter and Gutbuster, but didn't see that in time. Must have been a disconnect from somebody.
It looks like Sev's Potato PC is the cause of the concern here. General Sound well familiar with that, having played with him previously.
You as well, yeah.
Yeah, no, very familiar with it. But yeah, so he's going to be. It'll be a couple of minutes before he's back. Hopefully sooner, but it might be a couple of minutes. Thankfully, it's the beginning of the round, so there won't be any ultimates really shared. 6% on the Graviton Surge right now. With the Ryan Zaya that's Oink and Yoink are running, ditching their signature composition for something a little bit more brawly for this point over here. And with the Junkrat and Reaper, they might be looking to get very aggressive onto the front of what the meta over here.
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to see him play a little bit more aggressive, but we're seeing the same problem I had with our previous match. It was Defect's Bathwater, choosing not to run the Lucio here along with that Ryan Zarya. And I wonder if they're going to struggle to close the distance here without that speed boost.
Yeah, it's not even as if they're doing what Defect's Bathwater were doing and running a Baptiste to kind of mitigate that and give them a little bit of extra protection versus poke. They're running an Ana and a Moira.
Temple, we saw them running the May as well to
shut
that angle down and close the gap.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna really struggle to actually bridge the gap between this, and what the meta have taken a really good a good rotation in this first fight, seeing what they're running and immediately just rotating to point and giving a nice space between the two of them there.
Yeah, not getting caught up in that choke because that's what the Ryan Zarya wants. They want you to sit in that corridor so they can pump the damage in there, and maybe Mito gets a nice charge off, gets a pick. That's kind of what they're looking for. So yeah, I agree. Good rotation from the blue team, whose name's now escaped me.
What the meta?
What the meta? Yeah, Jesus. We've had so many team names today. Colors changing. My poor little smooth, dry, hard brain can't keep up with all the change that's happening here. So
I don't know, son. It's only 10 teams. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, it's only 10 teams. I'm only on game 5, bro. I only started casting at 9 o'clock today. I haven't stopped talking since 9 a.m. and now my brain is not functioning. Anyways, that's enough about me. It does look like it was an issue with Severin's PC, so he's gonna have to just clap a restart there or whatever it is he needs to do to solve.
I dearly hope they do not need a sub because I don't think I'm going to be able to find a 3-8 off tank.
Put Jen on their team and find us a new sub for. I think that's the only like-for-like trade you're going to get at this stage.
Yeah, it's just a little bit unfortunate that it's, Severin. But he always does come back. It sometimes takes him a little bit, but he always does come back at the end of it.
He has just hopped into Overwatch, so it shouldn't be too much longer.
Progress!
So we've spoken about the compositions, but whose comp do you prefer here? I think I have a pretty good idea, but
it has to be what the matters. It's the stronger comp. You've got. I would prefer to play in Oink and Yoink's comp, but with what the meta, playing that very secure Sigma Orisa, very nice damage and easy sweep from Anzu coming out there, and we're gonna have Sponge doing what Sponge does on that McCree. It's gonna be a very hard fight for Mito and Severin's troop of players.
All right, we're going to hop back in here. Unfortunately, the disconnect does mean he loses charge, but like you said, not too much at the beginning, but he does lose position, so he will have to come back to spawn here. And that means it's basically a free early cap. That's really unlucky from the point of view of Oink, but that's South African Overwatch.
Yeah, 2 more pauses until it's an official game.
Yeah, exactly. We've actually had a very good day in terms of technical difficulties.
Oh,
Sponge, how did he do that? Found a really nice angle there onto Cena. That sleep!
Ooh, big sleep.
Sponge taken out now. Can they push their advantage here? Admittedly, the fight is even. It doesn't really favor anyone with Severin. Holding up a nice head of steam here. A good amount of charge here. Oh, quick lie down there from Mito. Looks a bit tired. He's played as many games about classes today. And he just needed a brief nap there, but he's back up. Swinging deep in the mix here. So far not able to get anything. He did get very low there. Finally! Big shot. It cancels the coalescence straight away. Smart play from him. A nice eat there from General Sound on that Sigma, preventing the fire strike from going through. You need to be careful of the Reaper here. Anzo in the background, but no. Taken down. Severin has Mito covered. And now finally, Oink and Yoink can stamp the authority on this match. This is the first teamfight win. These are like the first kills they've really been getting on this entire map. And finally gonna cap the point here at 58%.
And I think from there in that fight, the reason you're seeing them win it out, they came in aggressively. Mito showing what he can do on that main tank. He is such a strong main tank. Able to just come in there, sweep up, get that shatter, knocks Dizzy out of coalescence, and gives them a really good springboard to win that fight.
They have switched on to the main now. Just now, good option to close down this choke, but they're not choosing to hold in that choke. A big Graviton Surge, a charge through. Nice work from James, stopping him. A good rotation from Mito. A really nice ulti from Sponge prevents Mito from swinging into that Graviton Surge. Now, they have the space to move forward. What the meta. Perfect counterplay to what Oink and Yoink had to offer there.
Yeah, it's really good play from what the meta there to, not only get the clean counterplay, but to actually completely end the fight before it even got to the point, so that there wasn't any stall, any extra percentage sticking on that.
100%, no stagger inside. They're taking so much damage coming through here. Again, I want these teams to play the Lucio. I know he's not that cool, but he's so strong with this kind of comp. Anzu, nice work getting in there. He does eat an anti-heal, but he's got more than enough damage to cut through the meat of Oink and Yoink's lineup.
It's a very, very nice play out from Anzu there to just completely take any momentum Oink and Yoink are trying to build out of their sails. And it's just, that should be reliably the map for what the meta here.
I don't see anyone, no, nobody in the background here, so it will be what the meta taking a very convincing victory on Lijiang Tower here.
Yeah, really, really nice play from them to clutch this one out, and looking through this game, it's nothing more than they deserve, really.
100%. Sponge had a difficult opening, but this was the moment that turned it from our point of view here. Admittedly, they had control. Oh, spraying. Gotta do the spray. I mean, that's how you get the kills. And a really nice rotation. There wasn't nearly enough time for Oink and Yoink to respond to that. Patient play from Sponge.
I mean, you're looking at the comp Oink and Yoink are running, and despite it being their name, you'd argue that you probably wanted the Sigma there to just kind of zone out that McCree who was taking that wide angle the whole time.
Yeah, we've been watching them. Well, we watched them earlier today, and they seem hesitant to lean on that Sigma comp unless they really have to.
And it's not an issue of skill. They're top players in their local scene, and they're able to play their heroes capably. I think it's just a case of them not wanting to play it. I think they're as over the meta as many of the teams we've seen today, but it's just a case of there's a reason it's so strong.
100%. And we've seen teams far and wide running that Sigma Ursa and getting good success with it. So I agree, it's probably not anything to a skill. It's probably just they don't want to play it, but I hope they do end up leaning on it a bit more and keeping this a nice even game.
Yeah. Looking into the second map, you're hoping maybe you see a little bit more positional or compositional kind of awareness from Oink and Yoink. Maybe like even if they run the off-meta comps, running something that helps them a little bit more. The Lucio, to get them into the fight quicker. The Sigma to maybe close off the sideline if they're struggling with that. But yeah.
I mean, it seems like they need to deal with the Sponge as well, right? He had free reign in that map on the McCree, and he did a really good job of shutting down the aggression of Oink and Yoink.
Yeah, you'd say more on Night Market than on Control Center.
Yeah,
I think on Control Center, Gutbuster sleep that landed on him in the fight that Oink and Yoink did win was really good. And the fights that they lost, I wouldn't say that Sponge was necessarily the motivated for the loss. We saw Anzu coming up with a couple of really big plays. The one fight where Sponge got that Deadeye out that zoned out Mito, but it wasn't necessarily that he was the only one carrying that team. It was a really nice group contribution.
Yep, fair enough. I can definitely see the logic in that. We will be heading into Havana here now. This is a map we've been seeing a lot of Bastion, Sigma, Orisa, that kind of stuff. You think we're going to see that out of these teams here?
I'd be very surprised if we didn't, honestly. You're seeing a team that's struggled against the DPS of what the meta in this early game, and you'd say that the best way to kind of narrow that gap is to play something that's easy to coordinate, easy to kind of get on the same page and do the same thing and then rush together. So I'd be very surprised if we don't see a Bastion coming out from Oink and Yoink here.
And who do you think, if they end up both running the Bastion, who do you think is going to run it better?
I mean, ATK were pretty renowned for the way they run their Bastion comps. Point.
And I think it is Sponge who plays the Bastion, or is it Squishy?
It's Sponge, I think. Squishy played the May finals.
Yeah.
In this situation, I'd expect that I'd expect both teams to be capable in coordinating it. But I say given the game we saw prior, I'd say we're arguably looking at a game that the meta will be favored in.
Definitely. Let's see now if Yeah, you do see that Bastion there out of Lee so smile, so you called it. The Oink and Yoink will be leaning on that, and we do also see the Sigmarers, so which is good to see. They're just gonna run the meta. It might be a bit boring, but I'd rather see close games than interesting compositions.
I'd rather see both.
Of course. If you gave me the choice, I'd rather see both. But if I had to pick one, I know which one I'd pick.
But yeah, so we see Sponge coming out on the McCree here. The joke from Gutbuster was that he's a one-trick, and he hasn't. I imagine that's more to do with his reputation on Hanzo, but he's only played one hero so far in this game.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If they can't deal with a McCree, why would you switch?
Yeah, exactly.
Set up on the card here are Oink and Yoink so far. No aggression from the blue team here this time. Once again, it is what they made. And now we're going to see them come in on the a good call. You can see General Sound leading the way with that kinetic grasp. That lamp could be the difference maker here. Severin finds the first kill, and now it's just a cascade as the kills roll in. It's already in the kill feed here. Sponge is the only one left on point. Anti-Reaver now on the Lucio. The car will march on.
Yeah, they just let that lamp survive way too long there. It was up for, maybe 10 seconds in that fight. It just let them just exist and pump out damage into their team, and they were never gonna win that fight at that, with the lamp so utterly in control of that one.
Finally, we're seeing Mr. One Trick Sponge switch off the McCree onto the Mayor. Said if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it was broke. So now they're fixing it. Big movement, nice work, Sponge immediately. That May paying dividends. Oh, make that double dividends as he takes down the Mercy as well. He was looking for the res on that Bastion, which he previously destroyed. Now, Sound gonna pick up the kill with that accretion. It's just Severin left here. He's not gonna make much happen. Sponge all the way, nice and deep, getting the squats in on Gutbuster, of course, a former teammate of his, so it's nothing but love there.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a Bastion getting walled up there, and again, we're seeing the issue that the Bastion just doesn't get up and get off the wall.
Yeah.
You want him when if your Bastion's getting walls, you want him to relocate.
Oh my god, that was the halt for the ages. Anti-Reaver gonna be taken down here. Not as much as I perhaps thought they would, but that might be just enough for them to get through. Anti-Reaver didn't quite have his sound barrier up there. In fact, he's pretty far away from it. Now, we're gonna be looking to get aggressive here. Not able to find anything just yet. Do end up using the lamp, but that's kind of okay. Another big yoink here from Mito. Here comes the May ulti, not eaten by Severin. He's not in position for that, and it's immediate turn. That May switch is exactly the pick that what the meta needed to clutch this one out.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a situation where they got the first pick in that fight from Oink and Yoink got the first pick in that fight, and they just it's just a little bit of positional awareness that's not doing them well right here. They see the May ult coming down, and the Bastion and the Mercy stayed in position and waited to die. And that's not what you want. You want them to move out and make it really difficult for them to follow up into that May ult.
Yeah, a bit awkward there with the Bastion.
That said, you're seeing good signs of good synergy between the two tanks with that pull into the Sigma ult there, and that's really good to see.
Definitely, and I mean, you'd expect nothing less from players who play on the team together. Now let's see. Okay, nice work from Lethal's mouth. Manages to find Anti-Reaver again. He's really struggling to work his way toward this ulti. Now the Gravitic Flux comes in. Severin dropping low, but not taken down. Nice work from the DPS of Oink and Yoink. Finally making some inroads here into what the meta's defense. And it looks like they're gonna get a nice clean push towards the first point here.
That late kill on Sponge now might be a late spawn as well, which means that they might be sitting with a team fight where they get a little bit of free push into the inside.
Look at that tiny May in the background there, spawned on another map somewhere. She's still in Lijiang Tower at the moment.
Yeah, and you're gonna see they're gonna be a little bit of free push. The cart delay and the geometry of the map does mean that it might not be the most substantial bit in the world, but it is something, and that is a little bit dangerous.
Interesting positioning here from what they made. A nice Yoink, gonna pull them down, but where they're positioned means they can get back up pretty easily. So Severin needs to be careful. That's a good immortality field, and you get a lot of value out of that. But Jen, pretty smart, pretty quick at taking that down for his team. Oh, Anti-Reaver needs to be careful again. Is he gonna pop the sound barrier here? No, he's not. They've decided they're not gonna commit anything to this fight just yet, unless they see a really good opportunity. Smart, patient play from what the meta here. Opposite, it has to be said, from Oink and Yoink here, although not to say it's not smart, but it's definitely a little bit more aggressive here as now. Finally moving forward, not getting stopped. Sponge in the background, he pops the Mei ulti. A good immortality field there from Gutbuster, buys his team a little bit of time, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. The Sponge came in around the back there, made enough space for his team to get the kills they needed to win this team fight.
And again, we actually see Anzu cleaning up at the end of the fight there, just making it a little bit easier for his team to make sure that the win is secure. We're not going to see a situation like we saw in the game earlier where, you know, you had the fight going on for so long that you'd know which way it was going to turn.
Yeah.
You have a good cleanup, good, you know, dislocation of the fight, and, you know, they'll be able to effectively regroup and go again.
Yeah, 100% Kinky Afro. I'm 100% sure that's the name of the DJ anyways. Has the bongos here, if they want to pop those down, they do also have the Reaper ulti on what the meta, but they have to watch out for the Gravitic Flux here from Severin and a bongo of Nito's own here. Anything in, moving in. Reaper, Anzu, get a little bit aggressive here in front of them, and Severin with a good kinetic grasp, blocking a lot of that damage, but General Sound gets the double. I saw Gravitic Flux going in there. Both players, both teams popping their Gravitic Flux, but it's General Sound that comes out ahead in this engagement. And it's what the meta. We're going to keep the hold going here.
A little bit messier there. You see the Gravitic Flux coming out from Severin, but nothing following up on it. Cena's still sitting on that Death Blossom. Lethal Smile sitting on that Bastion ult, although he died very early in the fight there.
They both died in the same hypers here.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like that's the difference between these two teams right now, is that, you know, General Sound's Flux was followed up immediately by Anzu's Death Blossom, and, you know, that's really what you want from these players.
100%. Oh, a nice accretion onto the Bastion before we could really get the damage down. But also committed the lamp to that. It does end up being the difference maker. The Mei ulti comes in the back. Now they're wishing they had the lamp, although it doesn't catch too much. Cena does end up using that Death Blossom. It doesn't find anything. This is not going well. Oink and Yoink, what the meta is getting the better of all of these trades, and Sponge and Anzu looking up here to get all the kills in the background. Gutbuster with a late immortality field, but that's not going to be enough to help them push this point, as what the meta hold them in the center of point 2 on Havana.
Sponge and Dizzy there, establishing a little bit of casual banter with their teammates. But yeah, you'd say that what the meta, or that Oink and Yoink could have made a little bit of better use of their ultimates there. You know, the Death Blossom did catch the Lucio, but that was it. You know, and is that really what you're looking for? Is that really the solo Lucio that's been getting picked pretty early in a lot of the fights? You know, that you've seen Anti-Raver get picked by the Bastion as they were coming in. You know, is that really what you want? Like,
yeah, probably not good enough at the end of the day.
But yeah, hopefully, go ahead.
It showed there not good enough.
Yeah, it's just a situation where I think maybe, you know, either you had to use the ult better or you had to switch the comp up, because, you know, they were struggling to regain the momentum on the Bastion, and at the end of the day they didn't.
So do you think they should have just switched the Bastion up there, maybe onto a Mei or something along those lines? Do you think that would have made a big difference?
I think they would have given them, at the very least, given them a balanced fight, because what ended up happening was that you saw the Bastion of Lethal Smile getting zoned out of the fight a lot by, you know, Sponge's walls, by being forced out of the form by the accretion, all sorts of things, and that's, at the end of the day, it's really difficult to work around that.
Yeah, 100%, and you see they can run it. They're choosing to run it now, so for whatever reason, deciding to just keep on keeping on with the Bastion.
Well, no surprise about what Severin and Mito are looking to do here. They're sitting in front of the spawn, establishing a little bit of dominance there.
Yeah, good read here by Watameta, going out the right door. Oh my god, that Yoink was enormous. Is there enough follow-up here? There's a Reinhardt, so you could get a ton of creep damage in here against the play from the Doomfist. Kinky Afro though, first one to drop. It doesn't mean it's over just yet, but it does put them on the back foot now. Mito down, that's good because the spawns greatly favor Watameta here. So any kill they get is worth so much more. Sponge takes down Cena as well. Maybe he get a third here. The Mei looking low, yes. Lethal Smile taken down. Sponge putting his team on his back at the moment, getting all the kills here. Gonna make more, yes he is. Sponge single-handedly making the space his team needs to push forward.
Yeah, a really nice play out there, but pretty smart from the side of Oink and Yoink there to just make sure they die on cart, make sure they waste as much of their time as possible so they can get a second fight here. Pretty good aware play from the side of What the Meta though. Pulling out with the Ryan instead of the Sigma, so they had a little bit more brawl in that very, very close engagement.
Yeah, perfect. Oh my word. That's a big shatter, but he doesn't find anything. He does put Medusa on his back, but they're not able to follow up just yet. They do find Lethal Smile, though. Sponge again, contributing a lot into the kill feed here. A lot of damage going through, as you'd expect from the Doomfist. And looks like Oink and Yoink just not able to stabilize. His part is not moving at the moment. Something that What the Meta should rectify at the earliest convenience, just like they've done.
Yeah, and it looks like it's a good situation for actually a big pick coming out there.
Just
And that actually gives Oink and Yoink a nice opportunity to come back from this point. As I was saying, it was a good opportunity for what the Meta to kind of just capture this point cleanly, but not anymore.
Not anymore at all. They're on the back foot now. A Sponge is taken down as well. A good Yoink with the cleave of the May Freeze means they're going to have a lot of trouble working their way out of here. Anzu not going to get out of here. He's taken down by his opposite number. Cena finally putting his name in the kill feed a little bit on this map.
Yeah, and that's a good situation for Oink and Yoink to find themselves in now. They were able to get some aggression back into the enemy team, and you know, now they've got a nice opportunity. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. It's not outside of the realms of possibility that they could win it on this point.
Good start from them, but they've done a good help. Sponge though, making the difference. Jen charging in there. It's all blue in the kill feed. They were stalled for but a moment, but once they got their ultis online, they're using that. And that kind of typifies this whole match we've seen so far. Much better ultimate usage from the team in blue here.
And much better aggression. They came in and they didn't waste a single moment in engaging that fight. And that was a situation that really, really gave them a big advantage in, you know, even though they got fluxed. You know, half of the team was on the ground. There was no damage follow-up. And yet again, an entire ultimate devoted to a player that's been getting picked quite a bit.
Yeah.
Surrender to my will.
Raver just now getting up to his sound barrier. He was picked off by Sponge, who was a little bit out of this fight here. Coalescence going through from Gutbuster, doesn't find anything. Here comes the May ulti. Nice, not eaten by... Oh, they don't have a Sigma anyway, so they couldn't eat it. But they managed to rotate their way out of it. I'm quite surprised that they got as out of it as quickly as they did. Anti-Raven now getting taken down. General Sound also not long for this world, you'd have to expect. No healing on him, so I think he's just going to get taken down. The Bone Warrior is alive now. If they overextend here, this could be a big problem. Are we seeing a little bit of ill discipline here? Oh my god. Count your lucky stars, Medusa. That Severin saved your butt. Oh, but it's not long. It's not for very long as he gets taken down by Aaron from Dizzy.
Yeah, and I think
on the card for the team. Very flux coming in here. It's not over just yet. Nice ulti there from Anti-Raver. Finally managing to put that one to good use. General Sound here in the front lines, putting in a ton of damage. Sponge is taken down by the Coalescence. The nice thing about these compositions is Mori can build those ultis pretty quick, and she managed to put it to good use there. Bongo, take it down. Big shatter, huge shatter. General Sound. He doesn't really play Reinhardt, but it doesn't matter if your team's got your back like that. Nice follow-up from team Oink and Yoink, or from the other team, What the Meta. Now, they're in a really difficult position here. Oink and Yoink, they need to get another defense here, but they don't have much space to play with.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Severin just building a little bit of time for his team maybe to get there, but I think probably, you know, you would expect it's over now.
You would, but they could get in. We've seen a lot of funny stuff happen today. A good rotation. There's the sound barrier. Could that be what the team needs to buy them enough time? Walking on the back foot here, but no. Anzu wants to put this one to bed. A big Death Blossom takes down 2. He's getting the damage in here. Ooh, no, not nearly enough damage from his opposite number. Cena doing his best, but not able to bring Oink and Yoink back into this one. 2-0, sorry, to What the Meta.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, you just saw a lot of really good ult value coming out from the side of What the Meta, which really did put the gap between, you know, the two teams here. Is that, you know, although they had the ults, although, you know, they got the flux off, but nothing followed up, and then General Sound would come around and hit an Earth Shatter, and, you know, the team was there.
Yeah.
It's just a very different situation, is that, you know, they're just getting far more aggressive and far more, you know, emphatic with their ults. They're just pushing them a lot harder when they have them ready. And taking that initiative just means that they're gonna win more fights. Even if they don't win those fights, they're gonna have more time to win the next fight.
100%. Just seems like they're playing with a lot more confidence is what it comes down to. Sponge playing like a person who doesn't know how to lose, just getting all the right angles, getting so aggressive, not scared of anything. And I think the team following up really nicely. A lot of the times we are seeing him being the one who initiates with that Doomfist, for example, finding good angles with the May. And his team is really kind of playing a very similar style to him.
Yeah, no, it's really a good situation to be in there, and it's just there are like General Sound. You say he doesn't play the Reinhardt very much, but he didn't look out of place in that composition,
No,
and it's just I think either it's very certain shot calling, or it's just a team that knows how to make the momentum count. And
who do you think is shot calling on this team? Out of interest.
I would imagine it's one of the top players, but I know that Shito Kinky Afro does actually shot call for his league team, Rage Quit Neon Retribution.
Okay.
That is a mouthful.
You're telling me.
But yeah, he does shot call for them, so there might be a little bit of infight from him as well, which does help guide a team.
Definitely, we will be heading into Temple of Anubis here. I think Oink and Yoink very clearly on the back foot here. There's no question about it. And what do they need to do? You spoke about just playing with a bit more initiative, playing a little bit more aggressive. Do you think that's all they need to bridge the gap here?
I think it's the fights haven't been overwhelmingly one way or another. That's the thing. They get into them. The neutral fights, they've gone into them. They've been picks both ways, But when it comes down to using ults and ult fights, it's just been what the meta all the way. They've just had much more aggressive ultimate usage and much more certain ult usage. They know what they're doing. They know where they're doing it, and they're doing it together. And you've seen things like Cena's Death Blossom not being in place to follow up with Severin's Flux, and them holding onto DPS ults like the Bash and Tank mode for way too long, and it's just you want a little bit more out of those.
Yeah. So why do you think that? If you just had, you're not in the comms. Fall, I know you might have been earlier actually, but what do you think the reason for that is? If you had to offer some insight.
I wouldn't say it's a comms issue, because from experience, I know Mito and Severin's calls are very clear. They're very certain on what they're doing, and I would imagine Gutbuster's comms are similar. But I'd say that it's maybe just a bit of unfamiliarity of when to use your ults in an organized setting. As much as Mito and Severin are
front line's kind of on a bit of a different page to the back line.
Yeah, and I think Mito and Severin might be on that, but Cena and Lethal Smile might be used to wanting to try and go for those big ults that would get 6 people.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely seems like a reasonable explanation. Here, the Sigma Shield will keep his team healthy. Uses the kinetic grasp. There's Severin as well. It is Oink and Yoink on the attack here in the red again. Thankfully, these teams not switching hands too much. Ooh, Anzu takes down Gutbuster. It's gonna be a problem for them. Kinko Afro following up with a kill on Cena, and that Yoink is gonna make more space here. Ooh, need to be careful, Chen. Getting a little bit out of position here, but they are way ahead in this team fight. And they do take down Severin here. Just Mito left for the team fight, and that's a nice early team fight win. What the meta is funny.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a team with a Junkrat on the defense here, and you're thinking, yeah, I don't really want to push up that left side. It's gonna be a very difficult inside push. You're sitting with a low ground disadvantage. You're sitting with a tight choke to push into. They're gonna have to try and play a little bit more with the space, and that means playing into Sponge's Ashe.
Now that
yeah, we've been seeing Ashe a lot on this point. What makes Ashe particularly strong? Obviously, she's got good use of the high ground. Is that just what it is? The dynamite as well?
Yeah, the big AoE of the dynamite there, but mostly because they're gonna have really nice control of the range there, and with the 2 shields on the defense, they've got the shield advantage. He can afford to set out a little bit of an angle.
Man,
put a little bit more of that resource.
Yeah, geez, they're cutting them up here. We saw this earlier as well. But they're just preventing them from getting in. A Toxin Crocs it was, in fact, against Oink and Yoink, I want to say. They really controlled the space, prevented them from coming in. We're seeing more of the same here.
Yeah, and
he's been on top of this Junkrat now this whole round, and it's been working perfectly.
And you see here, the fact that they're playing into a space that's, they're playing into Anzu's Junkrat, and he's just able to spam there. Sponge has moved maybe 2 meters in this entire fight.
Yeah, he's just on that bridge, totally uncontested.
Many find the universe.
And, you know, because they're playing into something where Anzu can just spam in, it means that Sponge isn't required to rotate, which means that he can stop flanks, he can stop the rotation, he can stop people coming back from spawn. And that's, you know, it's a really bad situation for Oink and Yoink to find themselves in, because they now find themselves at a 5-to-1 ultimate disadvantage.
Yeah. They really are struggling here, and they don't really have win condition ultimates. I mean, sure, the halt into the gravitic flux is good, but that's just countered by Medusa on the sound barrier. He doesn't need to use that for anything else, unless they hit a really good hunter. What the mid is sitting pretty good.
And a big flux
again. That choke is not working out for them. Sponge gonna throw in the bob here, which is probably totally unnecessary, but why not, right? They have nowhere to go. The bob, how did he even get where he is now? He got
Junkrat, yeah. Yeah, and you're looking here, you know, they've used 3 ults in that fight, and they still have 3. They still have an ult advantage on Oink and Yoink here, and you know, you have to be thinking at this point, maybe we just sit at the choke and spam their shield. Maybe we just break their position and so we can move.
Or at least try going a different direction. That's the strength of the Ashe and the Junkrat. No matter where you go, you're getting wrecked by Dynamite with this kind of position. Oh, here comes the Flux, just going straight on top here. Is there enough follow-up damage so far? Doesn't look like it. The Immortality Field making the difference there. Here comes the Junkrat Tire. Again, trading for the Immortality Field. Nothing yet. Okay, finally, Oink and Yoink starting to get some kills. Severed doing some work here, and it looks like they finally managed to break through onto the point here.
And, you know, you see, as they do something different, they win a fight.
Yeah. Although, admittedly, they did also use all their ultimates.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a 2CP game. You're looking to stack ultimates and go all at once. And, you know, we say use all their ultimates, it was 3. And what the meta did the same.
So now they push in. I mean, again though, they're gonna run into the same issues where the spaces are so well controlled by the heroes of what the meta here.
I think
Seven's so far forward. I don't think he realized his team got pulled back here. He hasn't been punished just yet, but he's all by him. He's lonesome, and his team getting ripped apart behind him. Yeah, Sponge taking down Gutbuster. It's just Lethal Smile. He's gonna try and get out, but I imagine, yeah, would have been yoinked in there by DJ Kinky Afro, but didn't even end up needing to happen.
I was gonna say, I would almost expect that Ashe would be switched out here, because it is a bit more of a tight, congested point where the Junkrat and the Reaper can be a little bit more effective. But it actually looks like they're keeping on it so that he can just poke that range, you know, get that dynamite, build up that ult, and you know, 30% to Bob again already. If he gets Bob on a regular basis, they'll never be able to take a clean fight.
Definitely, and I mean they've got no way to deal with him at this kind of range.
Pause call.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I can't talk and read chat at the same time. What am I, a rocket scientist?
Doing 2 things at once?
Yeah,
Never.
You're the master's student here, Blair. I got a line for that.
Aren't you a lab assistant of some description?
A technician.
Technician. Sorry,
Yeah.
my mistake.
Damn it. I'm not an assistant. I have assistants. I don't have assistants. I wish I did. That'd make my job a lot easier. But the point is, I've been casting for 100 hours now.
100 full hours.
My brain is really not operating at 100%, so I need you to read for me.
And that's what I'm here for.
So far, so good. So, looking at the alts here for both teams, Oink and Yoink on attack, they do have the 3 alts, but nothing really game-changing. Although that said, actually, the Junkrat and the Gravitic Flux could end up being quite a difference maker, and there's no good defense on the side of what the meta here.
Yeah, and I'd say, you know, you're looking at the Junkrats and the Gravitic Flux there with the Reaper so far off his ult, and you're just thinking, you know, that could be a really good win condition for us. We push in aggressive, we make sure their lamp is used, and you know, we go for the win off that. We go nice and aggressive, but that's unfortunately been their problem the entire fight, or entire game, is that they just haven't got the aggression.
Yeah, seems that way. So, although that said, Severin does seem in the way he's been playing to want to be aggressive, to want to make those plays. We saw him be the one as Mito gets taken down before they can even get in. We're talking about Ash controlling the long sidelines, and I mean, it's so hard for them to even approach the choke. But as I was saying, Severin seems to want to make that kind of aggressive play. We saw him on the first point. He was the one who came in with the gravitic flux straight on top of them, straight down the choke, and made the play. But not able to get good follow-up so far on second point.
And it looks like he's gonna have to do something similar here because they're just taking so much poke.
Okay, they have mostly made their way in here. See, I think it is eyes on Severin here. See if he can make the play. Okay, Tire coming through, but it might get shut down. Yeah, Sponge had that one covered again. That Ash paying dividends here with that long range. Here comes the gravitic flux. Are we gonna get any kills here? No. Perfect immortality field there from Dizzy, keeping his team alive. And now the Amp Matrix comes down. The Bob doing so much work in the backline, and what the meta, just in complete control of this game at the moment.
And you'd argue maybe a bit of an overcommitment of ults from the What the Meta team, but at the same time, you're looking at a situation for Oink and Yoink where they came in with two ults that would have gone fairly well together, and they just used neither of them together.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, difficult position here, and I mean Sponge is just completely uncontested on this high ground. He can do whatever he wants. Nice Yoink in there. It's so difficult. Severin has switched onto the ball now to make his way in. That Riptide going very deep, finding Mito. He was close to the bongo, and not having that resource might be a difference maker, but to be honest, I don't think they had enough resources anyway to get anywhere near the point cap in this case.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate there that they didn't have the fight to take there. Yeah, and you know you'd say maybe this is a little bit of Sponge showing his class on this DPS over here. You know, delivering really good consistent damage that's really kept Oink and Yoink very controlled for a lot of this game. You know, he's built up that Bob, and every time they've got to point, there's been a Bob.
So how do you deal with that as a team moving to that choke when you've got a player like Sponge on the high ground? You don't have the heroes to contest him, but on paper your heroes make perfect sense. Like, do you switch up the composition and try and counter Sponge a bit more, or do you just kind of try and play him like he's a Pharah, just ignore him and kill his core?
Well, I think in the case of what Oink and Yoink are actually doing, it's that they need their players, especially the players that aren't used to playing against, you know, a 4K DPS, to play with a little bit more discipline. You know, they need to not peek him, because if they peek him, they get shots. And it's happened to Cena a couple of times, and it's happened to Lethal a couple of times, where, you know, they've peeked when they're coming back from spawn, or they've peeked during the off time in the fight, and, you know, either they've been killed by Anzu spam, or they've been killed by Sponge, you know, distributing a little bit of damage towards their heads.
Yeah, and you can see how it becomes a cascade of ill discipline, getting wrecked by the Ash. So you try and get more out of every situation. That means you peak more. You try and get something out of the reset phase. You try and get something out of everything, and then you just end up feeding more and more and more.
And unfortunately, you know, when you're playing against, you know, he's going to hit some dynamites. He's going to hit some shots in any situation, and you just can't let him consistently do it.
100%. So coming in on the attack here is what the meta. They've now decided, Sponge decides to try something new. It's going to be on the Genji here. Not the most favored meta, I suppose, true to their name here. But we've seen it actually have decent success today. Let's see what they can do as they come in here. A little bit of a good play. Orisa, Zarya rather unusually. Zarya, I mean, Orisa taken down immediately. Kiki Afro, courtesy of Legal Smile Storm Arrows. And, well, that didn't go so well for What the Man.
What the man? Yeah, and so you're looking in that fight and you're seeing, you know, they're playing a comp that they core, they're going to go in and feed for a couple of fights, but then they're going to come in with 4 ults and they're going to win. But,
fair enough.
But unfortunately, what's actually turned out happening is, you know, Sponge coming out of that fight with 20% ult charge, Anzu coming with 23. You know, not really the ideal.
No, not at all. Although, you wonder why they went through that angle. Sponge, I mean, Severin finding anti-Raver there. That's the Ana down, and she's a big part of that ulti combo you were talking about, the nano boost with the Genji blade. And you mentioned Sponge's ulti charge, but it matters how close his Ana is as well.
Yeah, they're both of them keeping pretty consistent pace right now. But you know, you'd say, ooh, Gutbuster going down there is actually a really big pick for them.
Looking to get aggressive now is what the middle, the back of that kill. Coalescence coming through. Anzu finds Severin. Oink and Yoink falling apart here a little bit at the seams. Although, return kill from Cena, but I don't think Spine's going to mind that too much.
And that's really bad now for Oink and Yoink, because you know it's that discipline issue again. It's Gutbuster getting a bit too close and getting picked. It's, you know, their setup being a little bit messy, and you know they get picked off, and now they're coming into the fight closer to that ult combo that they wanted to use to win the first fight.
You know, now that I think about it, they did just come up a real slugfest against Rolling Panda. Long 3-2 game and not a lot of break in between. I wonder if this isn't just a bit of fatigue showing here on the side of Oink and Yoink.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to speak from experience. Ooh.
Oh, okay. Cena decided he doesn't really want to get this team fight get started. A big riptide in the back line. Now barreling forward is Oink and Yoink. Nice little bit of stabilization, but again, you were saying you worry about the nano blade when that comes in. Is that just gonna spell doom for Oink and Yoink?
And you know, unlucky for Oink and Yoink here, they don't even have their sound barrier ready yet. You know, and that's you know how you would counter that. Maybe they're going to use their flux to do that, but surely you don't want to use an entire flux to just kill an ultimate Genji.
Oh, I mean, oh, flux, yes, man. You definitely don't, but if it's that or lose the game, you kind of have limited options, right?
Yeah, I guess you do.
They choose to pull the trigger in here. Severin, okay, finding accurate, but the longer they delay this, you're right, the closer Medusa gets to his sound barrier, and when he gets that nano blade muted significantly. Severin's been putting in really good work on this map so far, keeping his team in the game.
Yeah, Severin really shining here.
Okay, no.
Yeah, Severin really shining here in just kind of punishing the aggression of what the meta a little bit more than they have been in the previous games. You know, it's not a good situation to find yourself in 3.5 minutes and 1 tick, but you know, he's making sure that they're going to have as hard a time pulling this combo off as they possibly can.
Yeah, I believe this actually means that they win the series. But anyways, a big Rapidic flux coming in from Severin here onto the core of... Oh, we took a little bit out of position there. Anzu cleans him up. But Cena does get the return kill onto Anti-Wave. They still haven't used that Nano Blade. They've now had it for quite a while. But Medusa having to use the nice work. Use the sound barrier, wait for it to dissipate a bit, and here comes the combo. The Nano Blade in from Spine. He finds at least one. Now he's getting aggressive. Lethal Smile though, flexing his muscles, showing his strength a little bit as he takes down the ultimate Genji as well as another player. Can they restabilize fight? Laboring Oink and Yoink just because of the spawns. But they need to clean up the last kills, and they do just that. And weathering the storm there, that was a big moment for Oink and Yoink.
Yeah, really good. Maybe turning the corner a little bit there. Maybe a little bit too late, but you know they got out of that without having to commit too much. Oh, I say without having to commit too much, they commit quite a bit, but they got out of that with, you know, relatively They didn't lose the tick that would have lost them the game. They still have an ult on hand, another one coming up, and that doesn't leave a significant disadvantage to what you
Yeah, Sponge now has something Here comes a nice Hunter ulti. I would have liked to have seen that combo there with the... Okay, they did combo the back end of it. Okay, nice. Severin actually managed to track down. Oh, nice stand there. Immediately stops Andrew in his track. Well spotted from that nano. Probably would have got a ton of damage here. Might not matter too much. His team following up really well. What the meta, putting the pressure in, putting the kicks in onto Oink and Yoink. Smile backing on the losers, gonna try and buy his team some time and some space, and it seems to be making a difference here. Not able to get in. General Sound backing on the ball. He thought his team had that one covered, but now he's gonna have to go back and switch back onto a more standard hero here, and that's a lot of ulti charge down the drain. We might be seeing Oink and Yoink mounting a real strong defense here.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good result out of them, considering what we've seen so far in this game. That they're just stabilizing, they're just putting themselves in a position to, you know, not get rolled over, show that there's still a little bit of life in this game, you know, and just, you know, show what they can do. Severin doing a phenomenal amount of work, just stop their Reaper getting value.
Yeah.
Lethal Smile coming back, getting a pick, making sure that they don't, you know, lose the fight even though they were in an unfavorable position.
Cena popping that ulti now, holding on to it for a little bit. He doesn't find anything, but I believe the damage committed onto Kinky Afro there. Help take him out. This fight's pretty even though, and that favors the defenders. Yoink is looking pretty strong in this phase. The Flux comes in. He does end up picking Sponge there. Takes him down at the end of the Severin. Again, being a difference maker here. Follows up that kill with a kill onto General Sound. 30 seconds left on the clock. Not much time left for What the Meta to close this one out.
Yeah, and you're probably going to see them switch onto the Wrecking Ball here, try and get back to point. The Doomfist as well coming through. They're just going to try and load everything onto point and try and just swing this fight through, sheer force of will.
Now there's nothing to say, we see a mega clutch out there. We've seen a lot of them today. Sully especially stands out on Eichenwald. And Jen does work his way in there. Good start for What the Meta. Great start for What the Meta though. They need to clean up. It's not over just yet. The way the scores work on this point, there's nothing in the bag just yet. Medusa, that sound barrier gonna buy his team much more time. Jen doing a great job controlling the space on point here, and he's now isolated Mito, that 45, doing a bit more harm than good as it turns out. Here comes Mito Smile in with his ulti. Doesn't manage to find anything, but gets Andrew very low, but it's not enough. Sponge gets Medusa down on the point. There's a lot, it's a messy fight, but so far, so good for What the Meta. They need to take down Lethal Smile. They do just that. Cena trying to get onto the point, but he doesn't manage to do so. Back in on with the Flux is Severin. Can they do anything? Not just yet. Anti-Raver getting the last hit on that one. The ball, not long for this world. It's ball on ball action. It's General Power. Finds a better of that. What the Meta manages to close the series out here. 3-0 victory on Temple of Maneuvers. Or rather, getting the 3-0 on Temple of Maneuvers.
Yeah, that's really good work from them there to just get that last fight and make sure that they do win it. You probably could have seen a little bit of a like smarter defense there at the last fight. From Oink and Yoink, who had a couple of early picks which really set the tone for the rest of that fight. But ultimately you can't say it's more than What the Meta have deserved. They've played a very strong game and played very well together.
Definitely, basically in control of the series from the beginning. Pretty strong team. We never actually spoke about where these teams sit in the standings, I just realized. And just to sort of orientate you guys, What the Meta currently in last place. They got a victory of somebody. But yeah, Oink and Yoink in second last place. So these two are at the bottom of the log. Log's pretty close, so I believe they still have an opportunity to get through if their map differential is good enough. So this is really good for What the Meta, but their map differential is pretty bad at the moment. It's at -4, so a victory will go a long way towards their hopes to making it into the bracket stage.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're kind of relying on a situation where they're looking for What the Meta, they're through already, aren't they?
I'm not sure because there's still maps to be played.
I am on the wrong screenshot. My mistake. What the Meta currently bottom of their log, and they're relying on either Toxic Crocs to drop their match completely, or to get a higher map differential than Rolling Panda GIF, and that's going to come down to this last map here. They're going to have to win this to actually even stand a chance.
Yeah,
if they don't.
Rolling Panda's actually played all the games, so their result is set in stone. They have 2 points to What the Meta's 1. So when What the Meta, so they'll get 1 point. If they lose this game, I think it's a draw by my calculations.
Yeah, if they lose this game, then they will be equal on map differential with Rolling Panda GIF, and then it comes down to Toxic Crocs, because if Toxic Crocs win their game versus Alvia Kabuli, then they'll go through.
100%. The way it usually works is you go from map differential to map 1. So
yeah, but if they tie, it'll be the same.
Okay, cool. Right, so we are moving on to King's Row here, a map we all love. Best map in any game ever made.
South Africa's favorite
Talk
map.
to me about Dust 2 or Crossfire. I made that map up. I think it's a COD 4 map. I don't know.
I mean,
Whatever.
Dust 2 is just what my estate agent. Dust 2 is just what my estate agent wrote on her inspection form.
Oh wow, rip this guy. This dude has a estate agent here. This is like maximum boomer energy, but anyways.
You know, coming into King's Row here, though, you're probably gonna. I would be very surprised if we see something that goes against what we've seen for the majority of this game. The match has been kind of tilted um, against Oink and Yoink from the beginning here, and you know, you'd be hoping that maybe they come out and show that like put a bit of a performance in, but you know, that means they're gonna have to show a lot more discipline than they have in the previous maps.
Yeah, Mito says one loss, right? I think that's about what it comes down to. One last time for these players to show their stuff, make an impact here on the local Overwatch scene, open our eyes to their skill, as so many have done over the course of today. It's been an awesome day of casts, actually. A lot of exciting matches. Started off real fun, and kind of petered out towards the end, but still a lot of fun games to cast.
Yeah, no, it's been a really good day of games, and you know, it's just a credit for our community that every single one of these games, despite whether we've had to find a substitute or not, has just managed to pull through. You know, it's like whether there's been players that have gone missing, players that you know had family emergencies, players you know with religious commitments, all sorts of things that have come up. You know, there's always been someone willing to step in from another team in their buys, which means they've played up to 5 games today.
100%. And you know, credit to some of the super subs, guys like General Sound, saw Vertigo in a previous match, guys willing to just come in, drop in at a moment's notice and help the team in need.
Yeah, I think, you know, special shout out to the people who weren't even playing in the tournament and still came through to sub.
Exactly. So we see, I think this is just Oink and Yoink saying, let's do what we want. Let's play some fun stuff and see if we can get anything done. We saw the last team do this, right? Or it was Luke and Condi playing the same composition here, getting on top of the head of the statue with the bastion, and the Symmetro Severin, poor boy, you never stood a chance. Oink and Yoink falling apart at the seams here, but I think they kind of know what's going on here, and they're just gonna have some fun in this last match.
I'm not quite sure what's actually going on in this fight. It's just, you know, I think they're trying to play it. They didn't actually take an engagement there. I think maybe it might just be them coming in to have some fun.
Yeah, I think no, Severin got caught out on the right hand side. They didn't actually get the initiation they were looking for. And they weren't expecting the TP to come onto the statue. So they were kind of just caught out of position, I think.
The power of destruction.
Payload's going to be rolling out here, and you know, we're looking at the meta comp, and we know what's coming. They're just going to roll it to the end of the map.
Yep. Bastion doesn't even have friends on point at the moment, but actually an okay comp to deal with this kind of comp, I think, from what the meta, from Ultimate.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to get their engagement clean. Like, if they get their engagement clean, it's possible that they could still win this out.
Oh, okay, there you go. Cena does end up taking down Andy, but not before. Gets the main tank down. No res on the side of what the meta is here, but it doesn't look like they need it. They've got so much sustain, so much damage, and they just push all the way through what Oink and Yoink's composition. Oh, in the backline here, Lethal Smile doing his best on Diablo's impression, but it's not working out for him so well.
Yeah, we've seen on Diablo do scary things on the Tracer. We've seen Condi do scary things on the Tracer. You know, Lethal Smile getting a little bit crowded out by the Bastion and the Symmetra.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're all in a lonesome like that, it's hard to look good. What is he doing now? He's fueling the Sigma in the background, sorry, not the Sigma, the Baptiste. But here, just the Moira ulti now, or Moira Symmetra ulti, sorry. Just split the map up a little bit, make it really hard to help Nito there. Yeah, he got aggressive, but he got busted, completely isolated by that Symmetra ulti. Apparently, he's also doing his best Sombra impression here. But taken down at the end of the day, and it's straight push. Little Smile. Well, he got one. Can't argue
I think
with
he
that.
heard us. I think he heard us.
Yeah.
And he's not having any of it. He's going to show us that he's the best Tracer in this game.
Oh, well, now he's going to show us the best Widow in the game. Let's see if we can get anything done. Widow is like horrendous to play into the double shield, but if you can find a good angle, you can actually get some decent work done.
Well, we're gonna see them coming out here, just trying to swing this fight in their favor. But
Severin, a little bit of a run by there in the backline. Doesn't end up finding anything, but finding some space. Mito on the wrist is Severin. Follow the map all by himself.
Severin?
decided he has better things to do than be alive in this game right now. Anzu takes down Cena here. It's just the war machine marches on. Anzu found his way onto the high ground there, presumably courtesy of Sponge's teleportation and Medusa. Okay, yeah, take it down there on the point. No hope of stopping them. Lethal Smile on the high ground here, on the Doomfist. He's gonna try and make something happen, but no. Not looking very likely, but okay. Cena coming in now. Oink and Yoink gonna try and make something happen here with Dizzy. Finds Cena there on the Baptiste. And yeah, it looks like it's just clean up from this stage. Nothing really happening here for Oink and Yoink. Although Severin getting nice and aggressive. Countered immediately by a nice ulti from Anti-Raver there. And it's just pushed straight through. 4 minutes on the clock here for What the Meta.
Yeah, I think that's just really... They're really just keeping it tight, making sure they get this map, and you know, like they're doing what they should to give themselves the best opportunity to get through to the next game or next round.
Yeah, I mean, if from What the Meta's point of view, you don't need to throw any points away. You already have your backs against the wall in terms of qualifying for the bracket stage tomorrow, and picking up this win is a very important step towards that goal. But like we see from Oink and Yoink here, they're just trying to have some fun. Pick their heroes they like, try and get as many kills as they can, and see what happens.
Yeah, I think for Oink and Yoink here, it's a realization that, you know, realistically, well, not even realistically, in all situations, they're out of this competition after this game. So they're just trying to have some fun, one last ride with their team, and, you know, thanks for participating.
Yeah. 100%. Kind of a downside of a group format like this is that you do get these kind of situations where one team has nothing to play for and the other team has everything or maybe also nothing to play. But yeah, the nice thing about the group stage is that, or the sort of round robin setup is that Oink and Yoink got to play 4 games instead of just the one that there might have been a bracket phase.
In a row, while there's work to be done.
We got to see a lot of different teams, a lot of different games, a lot of different players getting exposure, and that's pretty cool to see.
It is.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is good. It's just going to be good to see, you know, how we come out, how the top teams in this come out tomorrow, and you know whether or not they can deliver a performance that's kind of mirrors what we've seen today.
Yeah, I mean. You can only hope, and you'd think it would just get better and better. Ryan Zarya from Oink and Yoink, Grandmaster playing quite aggressive. We do see a Torbjorn out from Sponge. If anyone was going to do it, it's going to be him. Although we did see Luke do it earlier, so taking a leap out of his book. Low HP here is Kinky Afro with DJ. I'm 100% convinced of that now. And they move through a tower. Lethal Smile, there we go, on the Widow, popping some heads here, finding good angles, and taking down General Sound. We had very high charge. That's a pretty significant kill. Now, moving forward, Lucio back in the mixer. I like to also point out they do have a Lucio. I wish they had that all game long. Oh, the Reaper taking so much damage. That's what I'm talking about. Meter with the big shadow, and perfect follow-up finally from Oink and Yoink.
This is gonna make you feel.
You know, if they'd been doing this all game, wouldn't be in this situation. Honestly, they took a really clean engagement there. They played it really nicely as a team, and the ult that they used, they followed up tremendously on.
Perfect. Oh, Sponge is like, hey, what you doing, boy? I can also play Widowmaker. And now he's decided, oh, this is a nappy. Wow, oh, the TP, aggressive TP. Is he gonna get taken down? Sponge finds Medusa with a beautiful headshot here. They do have the card moving now on the side of Oink and Yoink.
As much as I appreciate Anzu's, you know, initiative to close down that Widowmaker and force her out of position, I really want to see the duel between Lethal Smile and Sponge, you know, come out now.
Yeah. I think we'll get that opportunity. Sponge. Oh, Lethal Smile! Right, man. Taking down Sponge and is going for the style plays there with the grapple. Oh, big shadow. He knows better than to be caught up by that kind of play. Now, Severin with the follow-up. Nothing to counter that on the side of What the Meta. Cena finds kills. Lethal Smile finding kills. What the Meta crumbling a little bit here. They do still need to win this map for their chances. So this matters to them, and Oink and Yoink not making it easy though.
Yeah, and you see, like, Lethal Smile actually doing a lot of work here early in this game. Oh, it takes him again!
Wow, Lethal Smile. This is the kind of thing open.
Who's this Lethal Smile guy? Aquatic who? Sponge who?
How does that feel, GM? This is awesome, man. This game doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but we still get to see Little Smile show us what he can do on a hero that he likes.
I mean, this is the type of thing that I'm sure he'll be wanting to see more when the meta switches. Ooh, Sponge clapping back.
Sponge gets the kill in return. Sound Barrier comes up on the point. We also did see Graviton Surge thrown in by General Sound, but they're not winning this team fight. They're on the back foot still here. Is what the meta, okay, but they do take down Meter's Reinhardt. This will probably be a good way for them to stabilize Bitter and Forever. They're a little bit too aggressive there. Cena finds the pick on him, but both teams playing safe now. Neither can make inroads. Oh, Sponge equalizing the Widow kill there. Oh my god, Kusama, the poor boy. Please leave him alone. Or
Do you
her,
think
I
Gut?
suppose.
Do you think Gutbuster got under Sponge's skin with that comment?
I think we'll never know. But the evidence would suggest that he did. A bit of a calm before the storm here. Mito finally back up, joining his team here. Medusa. Using that yellow spray there quite deliberately. Oh my god, Mito! A good bubble from 7 keeps his main tank safe, but it's not enough to stop the murderous anti-Reaper from getting a double kill in there. Kinky Afro, the DJ, coming in with a huge charge onto Cena from the backline. It looks like maybe a stabilize from Oink and Yoink. Or, sorry, what the meta.
With meta. Yeah, although it didn't really look like.
Graviton Surge in here, swinging in from Mito. This time, Sponge doesn't have a big charge. He actually protects the President play from Kinky Afro as he prevents Angel from going down, but I don't think it made a huge difference either way here. Now, Oink getting aggressive, but they've got nothing to contest Sponge here on the high ground. Oh no, Little Smile still around. The Gen puts his ulti in there. Good sound barrier from Gutbuster to keep this main tank alive. I hope it's enough. Sponge, okay, handily winning this duel now. Mito not able to find the shadow there. Good block from Kinky Afro, the DJ. Sponge wreaks havoc on Oink and Yoink's backline.
And I think it's more than just Sponge winning the duel now. You know, you see Lethal getting a little bit fixated on Sponge now, trying to find him at the beginning of every fight and trying to like, you know, almost follow him. And it just means that he's not getting the same contribution to his team that he was in the early stages of this round.
Yeah, 100%. Coming in now is Mito on the main tank here. I think 2 minutes 47 on the clock here. Getting very low is Kinky Afro. On the point here, but neither team able to take advantage of Coalescence though. Does come out from Dizzy. But again, just to equalize this team fight. Neither team able to make an inroad just yet. Oh, that's it. That's a big ulti, but with Mito still alive, he's going to struggle to get the damage in there. But Mito now going down, courtesy of a kiss from the Widow's Kiss. It's a 2 Widow's Steal Sponge. He's had enough of being on the losing end of this duel. He's firmly stamped his authority on this now. There's another one for him. Another beautiful headshot. He doesn't fear anything. He's playing frontline. This is main tank Widowmaker, something we've never seen before. There's another. Give him one more. Not quite. He knows his limits, although admittedly, I think he was playing a bit outside of them there.
Oh, there's another one for you.
Everybody else leave the server. I want to see what this dude can do all by himself. Oh,
I mean, at the moment,
this is the Sponge show.
this is just the Sponge show. Yeah, it's just the like who needs the other 5 team members?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Let's see if Oink can finally push
No
their
one
way
can
through
hide
this
from
point.
my sight.
Sights coming out from the Widowmaker. It's a mutual destruction here. Anzu taken down, I think mid-ultimate there. Really unfortunate for him, and thinking you're gonna have to try something new here. Oh my god, Sponge! This dude, calm down.
I think you might have heard our comment, son.
Oh yeah, I mean, it does seem that way.
Second screen stream watch. Hi, Sponge.
Coming in again here is Oink and Yoink. More of the same from them. Well, Seven's just on the Roadhog now, actually. The hero he really likes.
Ooh,
big shout out. Oh, Kinky Afro. Managing to get the hook up. Oh, hook, goodbye. General Sound, taking that. And now, oh, Mito doing the same. Okay, finally, Oink and Yoink making some inroads here. Moving that clock forward towards the 3rd point. And Zoo, yeah, managing to get out. It's fairly lethal. Smile finally recouping some of the losses he's been taking in this Widow duel in recent times. Making smart. That hook was the longest range round the corner BS I've ever seen. That's some Roadhog 2016 stuff there. Oh, big shatter, huge shatter. Cheeky Afro, the DJ, making beautiful beats there on the ground with that Earth Shatter, but it's not nearly enough, as it looks like Oink and Yoink finally gonna make their way onto the third point here, get that third point capped, but it will be in overtime. No,
What?
it wasn't in overtime. Just barely. That must have been milliseconds away. That'll give them an opportunity to push through here on another attack.
3-3.
Very nicely done from. Very nicely done from the side of Oink and Yoink here. Just giving what the meta something to think about in the dying stages of this match.
Yeah, 100%. The Oink and Yoink's probably like, come on. Well, sorry, what the man is probably like, come on. We're finished. We win. Just let us win. But Oink and Yoink's decided, I'm gonna make it difficult for them.
So do we see the draw here, son?
I'd lose my mind.
Ready.
I don't even hate draws like Paragon does. It's just like this is the game that makes the least sense. The last map of the series that makes no difference. We're gonna pull out the
5 minutes on one side.
Attackers
Oh
incoming.
my god, 5 minutes on one side. Although look, I will lose my mind in a good way if they either hold this on the side of Oink and Yoink or push it all the way to the end. Either one of those will be pretty freaking impressive.
I mean, we see Lethal Smile immediately going back to that Widow that got him so much good value in the round before now.
This time Sponge not opening on a Widow of his own, so he's gonna have a few moments here of free reign, assuming they can win this first team fight. Severin sticking on the Roadhog this time, Mito on the Reinhardt as they look to break through this first point. The only hope of winning is to get some decent push on the card here. It's very unlikely they're gonna full hold this 5 minutes. Severin, they can sit down, they're very split up at the moment. That teleporter, not getting much down. General Sound, charged in, not taken down just yet. In fact, Mito's the one throws his life away, courtesy of Kinky Afro, and it looks like they're just gonna have to reset. They're gonna have one more team fight here. Little Smile, trying to find some angles, but yeah, you see that's the problem playing Widowmaker against a Sig, where you can just stick a shield in front of you and be ultra annoying.
Yeah, and I mean that's the issue you're gonna run into for both the Roadhog and the Widowmaker, is that they're both just get zoned out completely by the Sigma's like mere presence.
Yeah, 100%. Alrighty then, gonna look for another push here. This is the last fight. 11 seconds on the clock here. Cena dropping a little bit low here. Mito finally gonna move forward here. Can they make anything happen? Those symmetric clouds are a problem. The shield ain't gonna make it much easier either. So, patient play. Are they just gonna let it go? Okay, no. Mito gets a big toe on the front there, but is deleted by the accretion. Severin in the back line takes down Dizzy, but it's too little, too late as his team is crumbling around him. Lethal Smile, he needs to get all the kills here. He does manage to touch point, and in fact, Severin got a few kills there, but it's still 4 people alive at point. It's what the meta will hold them on first.
Complete.
The beauty of it.
Winnable. Mito calling the winnable now. I see the draw.
Yeah,
3-3.
yeah,
Switching sides.
the draw, a 5-minute hold.
Yeah, I think
I would lose my mind in the
Initiating
worst way.
match.
it's very, very, very static scenery for 5 minutes.
Right? Jeez, if they actually, you know what? I'm oscillating wildly between like being like, if they full hold this, I'll lose my mind. It'll be amazing, or I will lose my mind. I want to die.
Either way, you'll be able to stop casting after this.
Yeah, we'll sign off on a high, on a note of
On a note.
significance.
Yeah.
So looking at the composition to Sponge is like, whatever, dude. I don't know. I'm playing Genji or some shit. Who cares? Meanwhile,
Attackers
they want to play like
incoming.
fairly meta on the side. All of a sudden, Yoink's like, yeah, we can do it. Let's play meta.
They see the draw as well, son. They know that they have the potential
Yeah.
to hold hold what the meta is here for 5 full minutes.
They see the poetry in there. Definitely, I definitely can't fault them for trying to just make that happen.
4, 3.
Yeah, so Cena and Lethal Smile here. Lethal Smile back on the Widow. Sponge on the Genji. Is that something we're watching out as a potential if this happens they win the fight?
Let's see what happens here. Lethal Smile. Oh my god, he gets away on a sliver of HP here, Jen. On the Roadhog here. Just gonna be pumping the shield a little bit, Severin. And that line not trying to. His team's safe. Lethal Smile takes his way back to his team just barely. That Yoink was enormous. Nice block on the anti-nade though. Back to the spot for Blast Sponge. Had enough of Widow Julie and decided to just cut Lethal out at his core with that Genji. They take down the lamp. It's not looking good for Oink and Yoink, but they get the return kill onto Sponge. But the ulti's favoring what the meta here. The Coalescence, okay, crossing the beams now. Somebody could get hurt, but immediately Medusa stopped in a track. That is the shadow we've been waiting for all day. Severin on the Reinhardt, charging off into the distance, and cool.
Yeah, cool. Let's go. Oh, you guys ready for 4 more minutes of this? Because I'm ready for 4 more minutes of this.
I mean, if Severin hits a shot like that, shatter like that, on the minute, every minute, I mean, I'll watch that. I won't complain.
Yeah, Lethal Smile coming out on the Doomfist now instead of the Widowmaker. Probably realizing that playing against Sponge's Genji is just going to be an exercise in futility for him.
Yeah. Speaking of, Bongo dropped here. This is on the right hand side. Is that Jen, the Roadhog, trying to snipe that Bongo out. They're playing quite split up here. I like the style from the media. Not committing anything while the Bongo's going in. Now it's finished. Probably get aggressive. Oh my god, Lethal Smile. He's like, I'm gonna try something, and it didn't quite work out. But you gotta respect the balls on that kid. Oh, here comes the opposite. A nice Bongo here. Angle such to the comp snipe. Here comes the Nano Blade to close thing out. Winnable? 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 Winnable?
Winnable!
No. Prophecy
Victory.
has not been made.
And that's the highlight reel blade coming up for Sponge there, as they just clutch out that fight and, you know, make it a clean 4-0 for them, taking their match. Ooh, Severin actually getting to play the game there.
Oh, I mean, that shadow was very much deserved.
Yeah, Severin getting the highlight reel shatter here as well, honestly.
Oh, man. With the charge as well.
Quadruple kill.
Very nice.
Very nice.
But yeah, what the meta clutching out that 4-0, and then, you know, they're just getting their chances like as good as they can to get into the next round. It's the best they can do.
So Blur, before we jump into the consequences of everything that's happened, who was your man of the match for this mess?
So I think a special shout out has to go to Lethal Smile. Because he really did deliver a really interesting performance, especially on this Kings Row game. But, you know, for sheer quality and sheer just control of the game, you have to probably say Sponge, right?
I mean, who else is even on the list, right? I mean, Severin maybe put in a really good Sigma performance on Temple, especially.
And I mean, there was that shatter.
And I mean, that shatter was game in the game. But Sponge, I think, controlled proceedings throughout the whole series. He was the guy that needed to be shut down or he would kill your whole team. And I think if of all the games we watched today, that's probably one of the clearer man of the matches.
Yeah, I think, you know, especially because, you know, you're looking at him and Dizzy as two 4K players in this team. You're looking for them to deliver that bit of quality, and especially Sponge in this game delivered a really, really strong performance to make sure that they have a chance to go forward here.
Credit to DJ Kinky Afro as well, though. He had a few standout moments, and Anzu as well, playing that replay especially. So, yeah, really fun to see all of these unknown players show us what they got.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's, you know, you want to see if you see it a 4-0, you're expecting that it's a strong team performance, and you know, with this team more than most has some very big skill gaps, and they were able to, you know, make those skill gaps seem minimal at the end of the game.
So, thanks so much for joining me, Blair. It was a fun cast.
Yeah, that's fantastic day of games, and you know, Talon Cup comes around once a year, and it's a nice time to see what the best players and the newest players in the scene can deliver alongside one another.
100%. Where can we find you on the internet? I haven't been pimping the socials. Now that I think about it.
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I am blur_RSA.
Awesome. Paragon is here as well. He's at Paragon Sleeps. Thanks. He's been trip sitting this whole day. Casted the first 3 games. Been on production all day. He's making noises in. You're not experiencing, unfortunately. But at Paragon Sleeps, he has a Twitch channel. Don't worry about it. You can follow Kauza at ZA Overwatch on Twitter as well. There's a YouTube channel, just Google it. There's a Twitch channel which you're currently on. You might be on the YouTube channel actually. Now that I think about it, we're streaming to both. Facebook, Twitter, everywhere you can find things, we are there. My name is Sun Phoenix. Should probably do that as well at Sun Phoenix, SUNPHEONYX on Twitter. You can catch me tomorrow along with Paragon, along with I believe Cloudburst as well. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't actually announce it. We've got to compile the data before we can get the final finalists going forward. But looking at the standings, in all likelihood, we're looking at Alvia Kabuli going through in Group 1 and Team Poggy Woggy dominated Group 2. So, at the very least, those are two teams you can look to see tomorrow. Otherwise, tune into our socials, Facebook, Twitter, all of that jam. Everything will be announced there. Otherwise, head over to the Discord channel, the link for which you can find on the socials. And you can get involved in the community there, and you can also follow the Talon Cup there. And yeah, so anything else, Blur, before we sign off?
A big thank you has to go to all the people who made this possible as well. People like Zenora and Trinok who put a lot of work into the actual assets that you're seeing on your screen and you're seeing in your text chats with the fixtures and the results and all of that. And to our casters, Paragon, Sun Phoenix, and also Authorize, who was on the other stream earlier today. Thank you guys for making this such a wonderful event for everyone to take part in.
Awesome, and to complete the circle jerk, Blur, thank you for handling all of the cuck work, like the substitutes and a lot of the general management stuff that goes on behind the scenes. That's been so yeah, awesome experience. Tune in tomorrow, guys, starting at 9 with our first semi-final. Tournament will be finished. Tomorrow is the day to tune in to catch the apex of all of this beautiful action we've been watching today. Starting at 9 on this channel. Looking forward to it. We'll see you then.